Happy Friday, happy weekend. I'm Barbara Ann. Welcome back to Straight Out of Context. Copyright disclaimer. Under the Copyright Act of 1976, I am within my full legal right to share these following clips via video and audio. The following creators allow reshare, redistribution, and download of their content, and as always, I credit. Fair use, public domain, TikTok third-party license, and TikTok Live automatic third-party license for the use of commentary, reaction, teaching, news reporting, research, comment, and criticism. I am legally within my basic human rights, civil rights, and constitutional rights to share under the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States my expressions, my views, thoughts, opinions, feelings, and my critiques. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution guarantees my freedom of religion, freedom to exercise of, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, free assembly, and the right to petition the government. Now that that technical part is out of my way, we're going to get right into what Gypsy Rose Blanchard shared to her TikTok. She says, quote, "I want to take a moment to address something important. Recently, some actions taken by people I associate with have caused confusion and reflected poorly on me. Doesn't it always for the last year and a half? Let me be very clear. I am not responsible for the choices of others, even if they are my friends. What they do is out of my control, and I've already addressed the situation with them privately. I do not support bullying of any kind. I can only control my actions, my words, and my content, and I take full responsibility for those alone." Are you going to take responsibility for your crime and Unknownskyyz? The lies? Oh, no, not today. Okay, maybe another day. She continues to be specific. "I am in no way, shape, or form involved in the creation or sharing of AI cartoon caricatures targeting any content creators. That is not my doing, nor is it something I support. I love and support my friends, and I understand that many people, myself included, have been hurt by online harassment. But that doesn't mean I condone retaliatory behavior, especially when it crosses a line." You and your friends are the bullies, Gypsy, and it's always been that way. Now you want to backpedal, and now you want to get out of, oh shit, this looks bad on me too. I can only imagine how many different police reports and FBI cyberbullying reports have been done on you and your friends in the last year and a half. If anybody does end up deceased, all that's going to come out because all of that's going to be admissible in court. Every single one and last of those police reports. And there are many people who have said that they have had to file police reports. Gypsy ends it with, "Thank you to those whom continue to hold space for honesty, growth, and personal accountability." Really? Where's the accountability for all of your lies on Unknownskyyz? The slander, the libel, the defamation of content creators. But then she also shares this piece, agree to disagree. No. Agree that people are not going to stop speaking the truth, the facts, and their opinions until somebody comes forward and tells the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the laws of man and God. Personal accountability and responsibility and holding you accountable is the day we see you say that, yes, you lied. You were pretending to be a paraplegic at 24 years old with your mother for Social Security or Social Security disability checks. That you were fooling doctors into believing you were sicker than what you really were, and that you took the life of your mother for no other reason than you were told, no, you cannot date strange men that you don't know online. Because that is the truth. The evidence, the forensic evidence, the circumstantial evidence, the case files, it all shows that. It also shows a woman who was a full adult for over 6 years, choosing to stay. You can send sext videos and texts and all of this inappropriate stuff to your online boyfriend, but you couldn't ask for help. You can call the police to get pictures back because Melissa G. Moore says that's the moneymaker is the pictures. Go get them. Call the police to escort you, but you couldn't contact police at 24 years old because you were supposedly being abused by your mother. That's a lie. That is slander, that is libel, that is defamation. And just because your mom isn't here doesn't mean it's any less so. I'm sure many people agree that we're not going to agree to disagree. We're going to agree that until the day comes that you tell the full truth and nothing but the truth, people are going to continue to say their thoughts, views, expressions, feelings, opinions, and critiques on you, your life, and your TV show under fair use, copyright law, public domain, and the First Amendment. She actually has the audacity to further say this, both sides. Over the last 10 years, I've lived a life under public scrutiny. Why is that? Why did you spend 8.5 years in prison doing over a dozen documentaries and interviews instead of bettering yourself, proving that you are worthy of a second chance, proving that you are rehabilitated and reformed, ready to be reintegrated into society after you owe society a debt for your crime? Through all the ups and downs, there have been people who have supported me and those who have spoken out against me. I understand that I am complex and controversial figure to many, but what I've also witnessed on both sides is people being bullied, harassed, and torn down, doxed, stalked, simply for having an opinion. That is not something that I want to see continue because it's illegal, Gypsy. That's why. Whether you support me or not, I'm calling for peace. We don't all have to agree, but we do have a choice in how we treat one another. No one deserves to be threatened, silenced, or shamed for speaking their truth. I myself have said and done things online that I truly regret, but I choose to stop the hate now. Let's try to move forward and move with compassion and less hate. More compassion and less hate. I'm sorry. This isn't about sides. It's about basic humanity. No, it's about the truth. The truth. You just made an entire half-hour-long video naming Sir Morbid X, Flawless Nina, AshTooTrippy, and Conspiracy. And now you want to say people have the right to their opinion? You're sorry for defaming them and conflating their content with cyberbullying, with crimes, with law enforcement, accusing them in their First Amendment rights to their thoughts, their feelings, their views, their expressions, their opinions, and their critiques of you with crime. And you know what's funny about that? As far as treating other people, Sir Morbid X, Conspiracy, Flawless Nina, and AshTooTrippy are 4 people that have never driven down your street. They have never stalked you. They have never harassed you. They have never done anything to harm you, your family, your daughter, your spouse. But the same can't be said for you, your friends, and your associates. And yes, everything they do reflects poorly on you, because of course you know about it. Adaptive Kate, ring a bell? You were friends with her for months before you broke up with her. So was Bree. So was Social Justice Brat. And guess what? She told everything. It's no coincidence you then ended your friendship with her. But you don't end your friendship with Bree. But now you're making them look foolish. And you're throwing them under the bus simultaneously, trying to also backpedal your way out of defaming people. I'm sure Mike Stanfield or Melissa G. Moore just had this talk with you, and people are allowed to have their opinion. It is protected under the First Amendment. You know what isn't? Lies or lies that amount to defamation. That's not protected. Lying about your mom, lying about Nicholas Godejohn, who still has his basic human rights, his civil and constitutional rights, despite being in prison, that is not protected under the First Amendment. Nowhere in our Constitution is your lie to save yourself from the death penalty or from life in prison covered under the Constitution. If you want peace, just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Double jeopardy says that you cannot be retried for a crime you already were tried for. And you didn't face life in prison for the 2 attempted murders of your mom in the spring of 2011 and again on June 14th of 2011. Or you can always do what Casey Anthony's parents did and do an FBI-administered lie detector test. Shit, you could probably even get paid for making it a whole entire show like they did. But if you want it all to end and you want all of this to stop on both sides, whatever it is that you're talking about exactly, then just tell the truth. Just say it. Just say it. Yes, you and your mom were malingering. You guys were grifting. You were in on it. You knew. You guys were doing it for Social Security or Social Security disability. You were fooling doctors for that check. That the defense strategy of Munchausen syndrome by proxy was only created to try to save you. Shit, at this point you can even lie and say, yeah, well, I believed it because it looked like it could be. But anything other than trying to gaslight all of society and the world on social media. Just the truth. You know who deserves it besides all of the victims that have been left in your wake, but your daughter. Your daughter deserves that. She deserves the fresh start. She deserves the cycle being ended and broken, and she deserves the truth. It's kind of funny how that all backfired, and now there really are people crashing out over their hatred of Gypsy Rose Blanchard on TikTok, and they are not keeping it quiet. Like this young lady who was just trying to make herself some chicken for dinner. People really are tired of the harassment, the bullying, the stalking, the doxing, the cyberbullying, the threats, all of it. To the point where people are literally saying that if I end up dead, contact Gypsy Rose Blanchard's PO, because there are people on this app who have a safety plan put in place. Even I, for over 10 months, have had a safety plan put in place. That right there should tell you that there's a serious problem with people speaking their opinions, and that people associated with you, Gypsy, that they are feeling that that's okay to do to other people. Not only that, but you owe your family, your supporters, and your fans the biggest apology of all. The biggest lie, harassment, cyberbullying that you can do is literally lying to them every single time you say you are a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Every time you tell them that you were so abused by your mother or Nicholas, every time you come up with a brand new lie or a brand new false allegation against another innocent person, your loved ones, your friends, your family, and your supporters, they are owed the biggest apology, because nobody harms them and lies to them more than you do every day.
Okay, first of all, I want to give credit where credit is due. This is the T page with T. And if you guys aren't following her, go ahead and head over there and give her a follow. Because she's talking about something that initially made me start making Gypsy content and what I am so passionate about. And I never would have found this information had it not been for her. I really like all of her videos. They're very informative, and her perspective is very deep, below surface level. I appreciate your work, girl. Let's just read it together, huh? Gypsy Rose Blanchard, public figure, author, social media influencer, advocate. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a survivor, advocate, dedicated to prison reform and mental health awareness. Really? She's dedicated? All the time you must put into it. Her journey through the criminal justice system has given her a unique perspective on the urgent needs for systematic change. What have you done? Nothing except lie. During her time in prison, Gypsy witnessed firsthand the challenges that incarcerated individuals face, particularly the lack of access to adequate mental health services, comprehensive rehabilitation programs, and support systems essential for success to reintegration into society. You don't do a dadgum thing. You refuse therapy. Ugh. Didn't participate in any of it whatsoever. She witnessed firsthand the struggle. You didn't do anything. You were lazy as all get out in prison. You did nothing. You barely wanted to go to class to get your GED. And how would you know, again, I've said this before, how would you know what the mental health system lacks when you never went? You can't reform something. You don't know what they offer and what we need and what we don't need and what you got and what you didn't get because you didn't go to begin with. All you had to do was drop an HSR to mental health and you could have been seen. You never went. Comprehensive rehabilitation programs. Oh, it's interesting. I mean, the ones that you never participated in? Or the ICVC class that you don't even use because you've got out and shifted to where you don't even take accountability for your crime. You blame everybody else, but take absolutely no accountability. Because, again, when you created a victim, you lost the right to have a victim. Oh, that's right. The two people, Nicholas Godejohn and Dee Dee, they don't get the same chance you do to change your life because you created victims. You don't even apply the one class that you took, the one actual deep dive class that should have helped you. You don't even apply it because it was all a bunch of crap. You faked it. Support systems essential for success and to reintegration into society. What? You have got to be. I'm just pooped the bed. You got to skip all that. Support systems? What support system? What classes did they make you take? What re-entry home did you have to live through? Did you have to get up and get on the bus every morning at 6 a.m. to ride all the way across town to go to work? Learn how to save money so you could pay your bills? Learn how to balance a checkbook for the first time? Face any of the things that make it hard to reintegrate into society as somebody coming out of prison? No family. Nobody clean or sober or doing right in your life that can guide you. No driver's license, social security card. No job because they don't want to hire you as a felon. No vehicle to get you from one side to the other, and you better pray if you're not released to a rural area where they don't have transportation. The stigmas. I guess you didn't get unscathed by the stigma. No, you didn't have to go through anything because you got out and everything was handed to you. Everything. Including a platform that you didn't earn nor deserve. You've put no work into anything. And you know nothing about reintegration into society. Nothing about that system. Waste your $10,000. It's not advocacy if it's built on selfish gain. It's not bravery. It's not activism or healing when someone skips the real work, never serves, never shows up for others, and suddenly slaps on the label of advocate simply because the media handed them the spotlight after they murdered their mother. Real advocates don't use tragedy as currency and call it purpose. They've walked a hard road, often unnoticed, often unpaid. They serve in silence. They show up when no one is clapping. They fight for people besides themselves. What's really heartbreaking? When the world crowns Unaliver as a celebrity and starts calling her a hero, while those who actually fight for justice, healing, and change get pushed to the side. That's just wrong. That's the failure of a society that confuses fame with truth and infamy with impact. Advocate is not just a word to try to paint you in some positive light. It's not just a word you throw around like some trending hashtag. Don't become an advocate just because you're a famous unaliver and suddenly you need a marketable brand. You become an advocate by serving people, by caring about other people, loving other people, by showing up, by sacrificing, not for likes, not for money, but because you actually care. Let's be real. She hasn't served a single person but herself. She doesn't show up to help unless there's a paycheck, a camera, or a crowd. While the rest of us are out here paying for our own gas, our own print materials, using our own broken hearts and stories to bring real change. And we're doing it with no spotlight, no PR team, and sure the heck no 10,000 speaker fee. She says she's an advocate for prison reform. Where? What program has she built? What legislation has she fought to change? What reform has she brought to a single system? She says she's an advocate for mental health. But what has she done besides sell her trauma like it's a product? This is not advocacy, it's marketing. And let's be real honest. Reform doesn't come from exploitation. It comes from integrity, from scars, from humility, from people who didn't schmurder to get a platform, but who survived and turned their pain into purpose for the sake of others. So no, don't call her an advocate. Call it what it is. A rebrand built on tragedy sold for profit and wrapped in just enough buzzwords to fool a society addicted to fame.
I don't understand it, how anyone is able to think this up in their head, put it online, and the sad thing is we live in a society, especially with Gen Z, that they will see a video and take it as fact.
Enough!
We want to know how you thought of playing a manipulated little autistic boy, have him kill your mom, then you basically broke out of jail by way of lies rotting through your fucking teeth, and now you on internet acting like you a Kardashian. Are y'all telling me this girl busted in Salon Centric, sizzle her scalp just for her hair to be the same color as the fur on my hat? So, Gypsy Rose Blanchard done came out with the anti-bullying video. Like, girl, cool message, wrong messenger. We don't want to hear that from you. We want to hear what really happened to your fucking mom. Before I roll the clips of Gypsy and Rose Blanchard, I just have one question. Who the fuck made this video? Was it Gypsy? Was it Rose? Was it Rose Toy? Was it Barbara? There's one of y'all. Well, y'all, before I roll the clip, I just want to say I hope y'all had a good day, and I hope y'all treating your mama better than Gypsy treated hers. No, really though, I do appreciate each and every one of y'all that support me. If you've noticed a couple of my videos have disappeared, it's because I pissed a couple people off, and now their fans are retaliating and mass reporting my shit. And that's fine, because one thing about me is I'm not doing this shit to be famous. I would like to get paid, but I don't give a fuck. They can report accounts, and guess what? I'm just going to make a new one. Anyways, if you like my content and want to stay updated, follow me on Instagram. The link is in my bio. If I get banned, you'll find my new account there. I'm always update y'all. Well, grab the screen and roll the clip.
Is the things that we put out on social media worth the monetary, the temporary monetary gain that we get? Because if I look at the last year and a half that I have been free, the amount of rumors about me, Ken, my pregnancy, my life, rumors are insane. Like, I don't understand it, how anyone is able to think this up in their head, put it online, when it is complete slander, lies, and manipulation. Ask yourself, and I'm talking to you, Nina. I'm talking to you, Morbid. I'm talking to AshTooTrippy. I'm talking to Conspiracy. I'm talking to every single creator.
I don't know why this girl thinks she's a celebrity, for one. Two, people only talk about or only have to talk about what you put out. People don't be saying stuff about you for no reason. You know that the victim card of that pack that you got is not legendary. It's common. We're not falling for that shit, mama. You hired somebody to commit murder, got out off the terms of being a victim, and now you're trying to play another victim card.
Ask yourself, and I'm talking to you, every single creator that has ever made gypsy content. Ask yourselves, do you really believe the stuff that y'all put out?
You mean, do we believe the truths that we found versus your lies? Fuck yeah, we believe it. Gypsy, why don't you ask yourself why you hop on this here internet and on your damn little TV shows and spin a story that ain't the fucking truth? The evidence shows us you knew about this shit, Gypsy. You knew about your mom's con. You knew about your age. You knew you were not sick, and even lied to Nick for a year on your own accord and told him you had all these diseases and couldn't walk. But yet you hop on this here internet and you act like you believe every fucking word you say. The issue is you want us to believe it, and we ain't going, honey. We ain't going.
To me, I know what's going on in my life. And there's nobody that I would be that concerned about.
You know what's going on in your life. You've been hiding some of the shit you've been doing from your own husband. We just now finding out about it, and you acting like we shouldn't be astonished. You say there's nobody you would care about to make this kind of content, but look at all the shit you have put out against Ryan. You did it indirectly. You let your friend put it out because he'll think I'm trying to hurt him, which in my opinion only shows your normal pattern. Just like what you did with Nick. I couldn't hurt my mama, so I made Nick do it. That's you. You, Miss Gypsy Rose. But technically, yeah, there is somebody you don't mind putting content out about, and you don't care that it may hurt their feelings.
That concerned about to constantly keep making things up.
We gonna be on that neck as long as you out here spinning the lies, ma'am. All on the neck.
Is it worth the temporary monetary gain that y'all get?
Is speaking ill on your mother, Dee Blanchard, worth the monetary gain you get? Apparently so, because you ain't fucking stopped talking about her since you had her unalived. And you're still using your and your mother's con. It's just a different angle. Before it was poor, pitiful Gypsy, she's so sick. Now it's poor, pitiful Gypsy, her mama made her sick. Her mama did this. She didn't love her. She got Munchausen by proxy. You was in on this shit. You was lying to the doctors. You knew your age from the get-go, ma'am. We are on to you. Want to see the rest of the video, I can upload it and do another breakdown. This is my opinion, all ledge, and the rest Gypsy Rose said that dumb shit.
I don't get it. I don't. This person straight called me stupid. They hate me. Someone is like, I don't let the comments get to me. I don't look at it. You do. You do. They call me the M-word. At this point, I'm like, okay, can you come up with something better? I have a criminal history. Did I do the crime? Yes. Did I do the time? Yes. Should kids even be on social media? Okay, I remember when Facebook came out, wasn't it like 18 that you had to have, you had to be... Okay, that goes to the first amendment right. I have the right to have a voice. I have the right to speak my mind. I have a right to speak, especially with Gen Z, that they will see a video and take it as fact, when it is complete slander, lies, and manipulation.
So Gypsy herself has just issued her own statement about all the cyberbullying that's been going on coming from her friends, and she just wants to clarify a few things, and we're going to read this together and see if it holds up to scrutiny. So let's go ahead and read this together. Okay, so this is on her TikTok page, and she issues the following. I want to take a moment to address something important. Recently, some actions taken by people I associate with have caused confusion and reflected poorly on me. No, there wasn't confusion. We clearly saw what they were doing. There's no confusion about it. Let me be very clear. I am not responsible for the choices of others, even if they are my friends. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just you hiding behind your friends while you orchestrate everything and then just have them take the blame for it. So once again, and you're very well known, aren't you very known for getting people to do things for you? You certainly got Nick to do stuff for you, let me tell you that. So what they do is out of my control, and I've already addressed the situation with them privately. Hey guys, it's not her fault. It's not her fault at all, guys. She's absolved of this one. King has no control over any of this. Oh, but wait a minute. All this cyberbullying stuff that you're referencing to, and we know of posts that, she's referring to, especially stuff coming from a certain bro in her situation. Yeah, those posts are still up. So if she talked with them privately, she certainly didn't ask them to take those posts down, did she? She probably took them out to the, club or something to congratulate them for a job well done, if anything. Okay, so where are we at? Okay, I do not support bullying of any kind. Yeah, I believe Ryan Anderson could, have a word or two with you about that. I'm pretty sure he would differ. I can only control my actions, my words, and my content. It says her content, her friend's content. She could put them up to doing whatever they want and she could just hide behind them. Once again. And I take full responsibility for those alone. That's why she gets other people to do it for her. See, this is the trickery of her. She gets other people to do it, and then she gets to sit back just like this and say, hey, it wasn't me. It wasn't on my account. I'm not the one condoning this. But you want to know what? The posts are still up. So obviously you are condoning it. Otherwise you would have asked them to take it down, and they haven't. So that kind of doesn't hold up there, does it, Gypsy? I love and support my friends. Yeah, we know. And you use them for your own purposes too. And I understand that many people, myself included, have been hurt by online harassment. Oh, you poor thing. You poor, poor victim. Always got to add the victimhood narrative in there somewhere, and your friends. Oh yeah, I'm sure. But that doesn't mean I condone retaliatory behavior, especially when it crosses a line. I'm sure you've crossed many lines, and you've done it even recently, Gypsy. The MAT medication thing with Ryan, that whole thing, and, exposing text messages through your friends specifically to out him and show that he was, the first text that ever got released was through your friends at your behest. So you trying to walk back on this is hilarious when you actually admitted to doing this. So, because otherwise how would they have got those text messages? You gave it to them to release. So you're behind it, and I guarantee you're behind what her friends are doing towards certain content creators, including myself, which I don't care. You can do whatever you want to me. It doesn't make any difference. Kind of, makes me chuckle a little bit, but not much more than that. And I'm not going to call it cyberbullying because I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a victim of sorts, because I think what you guys do is hilarious and you just keep hurting yourselves. So, you know what I mean? It's just a reflection of yourselves that we already know, but you're just showing it even more. So anytime you do this, I absolutely love it. Keep it coming. Thank you to those who continue to hold space for honesty, growth, and personal accountability. All things you have yet to engage in. Just saying. It's funny that you hold space for those things, but apparently you don't participate in them yourself. Well, that was that cringe fest of gaslighting, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, which is not at all. But again, it just goes to show that Gypsy doesn't really learn much, does she? Her self-awareness gets further and further and further away, if it was ever there at all. So once again, this is just her hiding behind her friends, saying, hey, whatever gets put out there, whoever gets targeted by somebody, even though they're directly connected with me, and it's in reference to me, and it's towards content creators that talk about me, I have nothing to do with it. Nope, not at all, nothing. Don't look at me. Yeah. You think anyone's buying this nonsense? Gypsy, shut up. Own up to it.
Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one that is sane. I know that I'm unfiltered and shit. I have a criminal history and nobody is perfect. Yes, I have a criminal history. Did I do the crime? Yes. And now it's kind of like, move forward. What else is there to do? Move forward. There is nothing that's going to bring my mother back. There's nothing that I can do that is going to bring back that life. Whatever. But no, honestly, move forward. Haters gonna hate. As a mother to a 5-month-old, I hope that my daughter grows up to be insane. Insane. Like, insane. Like, I don't care. And at the end of the day, I know that I'm disturbing, heinous, and horrible felon, and an online child predator, and a cyberbully. I don't care if people like me, if they don't like me. If you want to dislike me all day long. It doesn't hurt my feelings. If you hate me, cool, whatever. Where it gets under my skin is that I'm just Gypsy. You can say to me, oh, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, ugly, fat, stupid, like all of the names that you can think of. And that is 100% okay. I think a lot of people need to look in the mirror and ask themselves. So, those are some morals that I want to teach. So please start having those conversations with your friends, with your family, with your daughter, with your son, with your brother, everybody. Have these conversations. Talk about how serious this is. And, but the problem lies is I know that I'm not perfect and I have done and said some things online. I'm guilty of slander, lies, and manipulation. And that behavior needs to stop. You know, it's not okay. It's just not okay. And you know, the sad thing is that I don't understand it. Brains have not matured enough to understand the difference between reality and online BS. And that leads them down a dark path.
Salon Centric has commented on the Gypsy Rose issue. I just want to say that this does go beyond Gypsy Rose. It just so happens that she's a public figure. She has a large following. She posted a video shopping in a Salon Centric. She purchased these products and she posted a video that got millions of views and got a whole industry talking about this situation. As hairstylists, we put a lot of time, money, effort into our career. And for our pro stores to allow things like this to happen is just not okay. These chemicals are very harsh. We need proper training in order to use them. They should not be sold to the everyday consumer. And I'm really glad that Salon Centric is investigating this and acting accordingly. So yeah, let's see where this goes.
Hi, my name is Amber. I am of sound mind and body. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a monster. If anything happens to me, you need to contact our parole officer. There are people on this app that can get it to you. Yes, I've already contacted them. Just so you know, I was just doxxed by her and her cult members. They're giving out my cell phone number, and now people are calling my cell phone and telling me they work for Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Of course, each and every one of these creators allow reshare, redistribution, or download of their content, and they are all credited in the description box. But also, I want to share this because I think in context, other people's opinions, thoughts, feelings collectively are very powerful and very strong. Because there's absolutely no way that it's everybody else and Gypsy's the only sane person ever. The mommy murderer. Maybe it's time she starts seeing that collectively people have a point. Maybe people are seeing things that she is incapable of seeing about herself. But I also want to bring it back to something she's trying to overshadow, and that is what she did at Salon Centric. Every time she violates parole or gets really close to walking that fine line of more crime, even if her new crime now is literally accusing people of defamation, accusing content creators of the crime of cyberbullying, this is what she does. She content dumps something completely mundane. She puts out a bunch of statements and she tries to completely overshadow what the real issue is, because she knew she fucked up. She knew she messed up. She knew she needed to handle that differently and she chose not to. It also goes to show what she will do for content, including not buckling her 5-month-old baby girl correctly in a rear-facing car seat or herself, which is child endangerment by law, all for the sake of recording cute little content. Isn't that what you said, Gypsy? Because other content creators don't do that. They prioritize their children and their children's physical safety above making content. But not you, not in the backseat of Ken's Jeep, taking Aurora to go see the Easter Bunny. Not you posting her with colic in the middle of the night screaming. And then you have the balls to actually post it on the internet for everybody to see. It's almost at this point like a fuck you, I dare you to do anything. Fuck you, I can do whatever I want. Fuck you, I am untouchable. I dare you to touch something. I dare you to touch on the actual truth. I dare you to take a lie detector test administered by the FBI. I dare you to admit what's in the circumstantial and forensic evidence and the case files and all of the videos, plus with what Nicholas Godejohn has said. I dare you to just say it. Just let it out.
I don't know if you guys can read backwards, but here we go. I think Lafayette might be the one that's closest, but I'm not geographically inclined.
Hi, thank you for calling Salon Centric. An associate will be right with you.
Boo, 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 boo.
This is Sarah speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, Sarah. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, I just found out some new information and I am so excited to try you guys out. We saw that one of the celebrities that used you guys had just posted that you guys are open to the public now for the first time shop.
No, ma'am.
No?
No, you have to have a cosmetology license to shop here.
Oh, you do need one? Huh. Well, you know, there is a certain person that is online that does not have a cosmetology license and they just bought $400 worth of products from you guys. So, I mean, if it's open to the public for that person just because of their celebrity, it should be open to the rest of the public.
I agree with you, ma'am, but she probably used someone else's cosmetology license.
She did not. She did not, and that was stated by actually your employee. Your employee told them once that they said that they did not have a license. Your employee stated, it's fine, I can let you shop this time without it. So it should be the same for me or anyone else, correct?
She shouldn't have been able to shop there in the first place, but if you want, I can give you, I can take your name and your number and I can give it to the boss.
That's great. I want to have the same rights that, you know, everybody else does. And if this person's allowed to come in without a license and buy products that you need a license for, I feel like I should be able to come in and buy products that I should need a license for that I wouldn't need a license for. I mean, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. She should, and she wouldn't have shopped at this Salon Centric though. That's the thing too.
She did. She did.
It was in Lafayette?
Yes, ma'am. Pretty sure that's the closest one to her. There's only so many in Louisiana, and I'm calling all of them.
Huh.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have no idea. I don't think, if I would have seen her, I would have said no, because, I think she should still be in prison. But anyway.
Yeah, apparently the employee was like, no, it's fine. It's okay that you don't have a license. I'll cover you this time. So, I mean, I'm not trying to start any problems. I just want to come in and buy some shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah, no, you have to have your cosmetology license. Wherever she had shopped at, then that,
Right.
it shouldn't have been.
So how do they handle that then?
If you know somebody that has their cosmetology license, they can call in the product for you.
Oh,
and you
okay.
can pick it up and pay for it.
Okay, yeah. I know that's not what they did because, like I said, the employee told them, even if you don't have your license, it's fine. I can cover it. So that's my question. I mean, the only reason I'm curious is because, there's a lot of us civilians out here now where if we feel like it's a fair advantage, that could actually be a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, no. Ma'am, I have no idea how to answer this or anything like that. I mean, all I can tell you is my personal opinion.
Okay. All right, well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, I can take your number and I can give it to the boss and see. And you can talk to her and, they can figure out, I guess, or whatever. I mean, I don't know.
No, it's okay. But thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day. I'm
You
sorry
too.
about that.
No, it's not your fault. You have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Give me out the video.
Daughter together, he would take your daughter's virginity at 13.
Correct. And I broke up with him after he said that. We had a huge argument after that. I broke up with him. I'm like, I'm done. I called him a bunch of names. I was like, I am never gonna let you do that. So you just lost me. And then he basically talked me back by saying that I would never do that. That was my other personality, but I would never let him do that. So I got back together with him based on his promises.
All right, we have another conflicting topic of interest with Miss Gypsy Rose. So in this first clip, it's with Gypsy and Kale, and Gypsy's telling Kale how Nick mentioned to Gypsy that when they had a daughter at the age of 13, Nick's fantasy was to have his daughter be given up to him and lose her virginity. So Gypsy goes on telling Kale, oh my God, I was so mad. I called him all these names and broke up with him, but eventually I went back. Okay, so that's really weird that you would even go back, but say it's true, you go back. In the next passage that I just showed you, it's a video evidence from the FOIAs that Gypsy initiated the request. So she said Damona, one of her alter egos, said that she was going to train the daughter to be quiet in public and know what to say, what not to say. And at the age of 13, she would give up the daughter to Nick because he is the master of the household. So 2 different stories. One initiated, one said Nick mentioned it and she freaked out. So just again, two different stories, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think she really broke up with him, or do you think that she was in on this dark fantasy? Let me know.
I'll let you know right here. Here is the proof. That was Gypsy's idea. She's the one who said that to Nick.
I couldn't do it myself. Felt like if I posted it myself, that he would have received a message that I'm trying to hurt him. I said, Victor, will you please come kill my mother for me? Because I can't do it myself.
Yes, Gypsy Rose's target audience is Gen Z, and she kind of dissed them a little bit in her YouTube video and said, Gen Z just takes everything as facts and they don't research anything. And it's like, they don't know, but they're the ones who support you and younger. The people even younger than that, whatever is after Gen Z, they're the people who support her, watch her shit, and hype her up in the comment section. Because if you check the YouTube comments, it's children. It's literal teenagers who are talking back to her. This is so important. Thank you so much for bringing awareness to this. And I can guarantee you, her parole is up in 2 weeks. I'm going to give Gypsy a month. I'll give her 2 weeks after parole is up. And I can fucking almost promise you, she will be online going ham on so many people, threatening them, provoking them. We will see more people release that she slid into their DMs than ever once that parole gets lifted. If you think for a second she's just a change reform person and that once parole ends, like, she's just going to continue to be this advocate against cyberbullying and all this bullshit, you would be mistaken. I think she is going to be completely unhinged as soon as that parole gets lifted off of her shoulders, and she's going to be out here showing a fucking ass of herself every single day, giving content creators more content every single day. And it backfires every single time, because the people who follow her and then they see the shit she's talking on these content creators, they just go follow the content creators. She's just helping them make money. But she's too fucking idiotic to understand that's what she's doing. You would think she would kind of understand social media and how it works by now. She still doesn't have a fucking clue.
I'm not praying. I took the test and I'm trying to let you know, well, baby. I mean, God didn't want it to happen that way. Right. I didn't want it to happen that way. It's not the end of the world. Right. It's not the end of the world. Very true. And I'm like, I feel so relieved now because I was worried. And the teaching you done that because you were worried.
I think you were trying to get pregnant, Gypsy Rose. You know, Nick's stepdad did an interview with cops after they got busted and arrested, you know. He said that Gypsy Rose was so freaking loud during their sexual activities, he would have to go in there and knock on the door and be like, hey, be quiet, I've got to go to work. Said this went on the whole time that they were at Nick's house. Gypsy Rose, it seems like every single man you have had any contact with, at some point you had to take a pregnancy test because of. You said your mom made you take a pregnancy test because of Dan. You talked about pregnancy with Nick damn near regularly. And I'm pretty sure that you told him you had a fucking miscarriage. Can't find it in the text, but I see the text of you talking about, I was supposed to be pregnant XYZ on this date. You fiddled with his damn head. Then you got out. Was out a couple of months and said you didn't have time to donate towards a kid, took a pregnancy test, and then popped a Plan B pill. And then like 5 weeks later, came up pregnant by a whole nother man. Every time your ass has been out ripping and running, it has involved at some point needing to take a damn pregnancy test. Your ass was fast as a little girl. That's what you were. And Dee Dee knew that shit. I also think it's interesting that the family member is like, oh, well, it's not the end of the world. God didn't want it to happen that way. What the hell had you told her originally to where she must have thought that you wanted to be pregnant? That's how those statements came off to me. It's okay. Maybe next time it just wasn't the right timing, baby. I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, this is all alleged. Entertainment purposes only. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Bye.
Nobody's really picked up on it. One cold look from Bree might have exposed how she really feels about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy's story used to pull at everyone's heartstrings. A so-called sick child, locked up and abused by her mom, who then plotted her escape through murder. It's been one controversy after another ever since. But during yesterday's live stream, one subtle moment revealed way more than anyone expected. A cold look from her friend, Bree. When Gypsy cheerfully introduced Bree as her friend,
This is my friend Bree.
Bree's face went from smiling to stone cold in a split second. And no, this wasn't just an awkward camera moment, it was a sign. Looking at Gypsy's behavior lately, that cold reaction isn't all that surprising. She promised to advocate for prison reform and support survivors of Munchausen by proxy, but instead, she's been busy turning her life into a media circus. Not only has she failed to follow through, but she's also been accused of threatening other survivors. And in a past live stream, she even complained,
People have reported to my parole officer. I've been the dumbest thing.
which honestly just shows. Some people are seriously fed up with the way she's acting. Nobody realized it in the moment, but Bree's cold look might have been the first real crack in Gypsy's carefully curated image. So, what do you think?
Don't forget to drop your comments down in the comment section. And if you liked my video, subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and share.